What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Norse Arms. My name is Alan. Today's video is going to be on a particular type of rifle and whether or not it is a viable option here in Washington State. If you were one of the people that blew your rifle budget on getting mags back during 2022, 2023, and the ban came into effect and you weren't able to get a lower or a complete AR, and you're trying to find something to utilize all of your mags in, because I know a few people that went and did this. They went and spent a few hundred on magazines right before the ban hit. Ban hits, they're like, okay, I'll save up and I'll just get a rifle. That's why I wanted to get these. They didn't pay attention to the stuff either that I was saying, or that Bill Kirk over at Washington Gun Law was saying, or any of the other creators or people that are in the space. They were saying, get a lower. A lot of them didn't. They thought they had to go out and buy a complete rifle because either they didn't want to or didn't know how to assemble it themselves. This one's kind of for you. But it's one to avoid, because this setup, I'm not happy with it at all. And for the purposes that we would be purchasing it for, I don't think you will be either. Let's get into if this is going to be a viable option for you to utilize, or if it's just something that's going to be more of a headache than anything else. Started off, before I even get into the stuff that I don't like about it, I'm going to give you the rifle itself, the features that it has, and then we'll get into why I think for Washington State it is not something that's going to be viable. That is going to be the Mossberg MVP Flex. This rifle came out in 2013, so it's a 13-year-old rifle platform. It hasn't gotten a new iteration. There's been manufacturers that have made aftermarket stocks for it that make it a little bit more usable, but for the cost of this thing and the cost of the new chassis, I don't think it's going to be worth it for us, but I'll get into that here in a minute. What this features, you've got a thick bull style barrel. It doesn't have the iron sights on this particular model. You have a threaded barrel. This is going to be the 5/8 by 24 thread, so your standard 300 Blackout 308 threading. It comes with the bird cage flash hider here and comp. It's got the solid bottom. And you get the Picatinny rail. This particular one came with the Crossfire 2 3-9 power optic. Get into why that's not necessarily the best for this. You also have an adjustable comb height on this thing. You just push this button in, this raises and lowers. Not entirely wild about it, but it's better than having just a fixed stock setup depending on your optic sets. It does accept AR-15 style magazines. Get into that some more, and it is a bolt action rifle. Has this one in particular, you have the two eyelets. So you got the one that you would use for your sling, the one you would use for your bipod. That's a nice feature. Some people find it helpful instead of running your sling on your bipod, which binds up sometimes. This helps mitigate that. But what I don't like about this, other than the fact of cost, this thing runs a little bit more expensive than the Ruger American Ranch. So Mossberg, why for a Gen 1 13-year-old design are we charging the same amount as a Gen 2 2-year-old design for a Ruger American Ranch? Oh, well, it takes AR mags and it's 300 Blackout or it's 5.56. It's viable. It's viable. I'm gonna tell you why it's not viable right here. When I got this, it was bone dry. Anybody that's bought any kind of firearm, you guys know, it's going to come with some kind of oil all over the firearm. It helps prevent corrosion from storage and that kind of stuff. This thing was bone dry. The chamber, full of surface rust. I had to go through and clean and clean and clean and clean just to get the surface rust off of this thing. Not the happiest. As far as the magazines, yes, it takes AR style mags. This one, being the 300 Blackout model, you have to use 300 Blackout specific magazines, otherwise it doesn't like to feed reliably. Talking about feeding now, the bolt. Mossberg, why you got to do this to us? Again, this is still a first generation style rifle like this. I think this one specific was like a second generation, but that doesn't make a difference. Oh, well, we got our second gens out and they're this one or that one or this. Doesn't matter. You have them out, but it's still the same setup. It just either does or doesn't have an adjustable comb height, and it does or doesn't have iron sights on it. That's not first gen, second gen. That's certain packages. See where I'm getting? So you're looking for something like this because you want to utilize the magazines that you have that you don't have a rifle for, or you want to have some commonality between your rifles, and you want a bolt action to take out coyote hunting. You want to have a bolt action for more of those precision shots, something along those lines. Well, this thing is not the nicest. It's got a decent trigger in it. It's got roughly a 3.5-4 pound trigger in this thing. Things I've seen online, it says that it has a adjustable trigger. I haven't been able to find the adjustment setting on this one. That could just be something else. The bolt. So, the bolt on this rifle, it has a different style bolt face. Now, most of the AR mag rifles that you see that are bolt action or lever action, they're going to have something similar to the AR style bolt face. Especially like even the MVP in the Scout or the Precision with the 308 bolt, it has this. For some reason, the 5.56 and the 300 Blackout, they did this little thing. Now, I get it. 13 years ago, that was the way to get it to feed reliably out of an AR. It's 2026. Guys, pick it up. Like, seriously, that is a weak point. That is another thing to go wrong on the rifle. Don't need it to be that way. And it would be one thing if this was a smooth bolt. This is one of the grittiest bolts that I've ever had. And I've had some that I have run hundreds of rounds out of, and they are way smoother from original, out of the package, than this one. And so, let me show you this. I'll get to the mag here in just a second, because that pisses me off too. So, you're going to go to run it, right? You make your shot, you go, okay, cool, here we go, shot, boom, right? You want to stay on target or shift to your next target. Okay, you're on target, you go to reload. Why is it that tough? Why is it that hard? It shouldn't be an 8-pound freaking force lift. It shouldn't be that way, but that's the way this thing is. Very, very tough to actually get it to reset. Okay, so you've gotten it reset. You bring it down, you're like, okay, I can run it faster like this anyways. You know, you decide to change out the optics. Again, we'll get to that here in a second. This thing, it jams. Why does it do that? Why does it do that? Well, because you get slop. And it's in every direction. It's not just up and down. It's not just side to side. Where, okay, as long as you're putting forward pressure on this thing, it's gonna go. No, if you aren't dead center, you ain't getting it back into battery. Okay. The mags, you guys are gonna say one thing, so I'm gonna show you this way instead of having the bolt closed. You run out of rounds, go to change your mag's in there, right? So besides the fact that 10-round mag's not bad, it's a little loose. That's because I added a little piece of the loop tape from Velcro behind here to support it. That had a good 1/4 inch of travel, just playing. Oh, but hey, Alan, your bolt's open. Okay, bolt's open. It still shifts. Don't like that. So, alright. You're out, you go to reload. Your mag release. Your mag release is up, buried in here, and all it is a piece of flat steel. That's it. So you're in a hurry trying to do your reload. What's that? Why? You have to push forward on the mag to get it to release. Now, on these, okay, cool. You know that about your rifle. You got a 10-round mag. Push up, push. Okay, I got that. But what about what it's advertised to use? AR mags that, even with the reinforcement, have a good half-inch of travel. Okay. Still have to push forward on it. You shouldn't have to reef it forward just to get it to drop loose. You shouldn't have to push in on it just to get it to drop loose. It should be quick. I shouldn't have to lift to do that. I should be able to, if I need to, reach here, pull back, and it drop free. But it doesn't. It doesn't. This rifle, guys, now let's get into the necessity of this. Like I said, you have to use the 300 Blackout mags, right? So, in any other platform I've run, the only issue I've had between 300 Blackout and 5.56 is running P-mags for the ammunition itself. As far as functioning, cycling, and running, it's not a big deal. Loading them up, they're not the happiest, and sometimes they'll bind up if it's a P-mag. Lancer mags, no issue if it's a 5.56 one. I can run 300 Blackout through it all day. Not a problem. This thing, it's not even worth the gas or the ammo to test it, as far as I'm concerned. Just because rifles like the Ruger American Ranch are out there. So, if it comes to something like this, I would take a Ruger American Ranch. This thing is more expensive than a Ruger American Ranch. Oh, but it comes with an optic. Okay, 300 Blackout. Average distance that you're going to be running a 300 Blackout is going to be somewhere around 200 yards, long distance, and that's full velocity, non-subsonic. That is supersonic rounds. You're probably going to be running 250 yards. You don't need a 3-9. You don't. I have that on my 308. I have the exact same optic on my 308. You don't need it on this. If they're going to be offering a package like this, it's only in the 300 Blackout that they offer this package. Offer us a red dot with a 3x magnifier or an LPVO. That makes more sense on this setup, especially for the guys. 8 bennies. 8 bennies for this thing. And just to get it to where you may fix the magazine issue a little bit, you have to get a whole new chassis because there's no aftermarket support for this thing. They don't make aftermarket bolts. They don't make aftermarket magwells. They don't make any of that. So you're stuck with what you got as far as the bolt and the magwell. You're not getting nothing for it. So you got to spend another 4.5, 5 bennies on a chassis to fix just one issue, and that's the mag catch being tucked away like that. And even then, it's not necessarily the best. It doesn't take it to be in your standard AR setup here with a push button. It takes it to being a paddle on the back here between the trigger guard and the magazine. Like, oh, that works for AKs. Why didn't it's like, because it's an AR mag. Why wouldn't you just do the one that's sitting like the Ruger American Ranch and every other AR magazine compatible freaking rifle and do an AR magazine release? That doesn't make any sense. I would not pay this cost. If you're just looking for a very quiet little 300 Blackout to have at the house in case some coyotes come, if you live out in the sticks, you want something with a little more oomph behind it, you want that real quiet voice so you don't wake up the family if the dogs are going crazy or something, okay, yeah. Is it worth the cost though? Mossberg. No, it is not worth this cost. This is a 13-year-old design that hasn't been updated, and you're charging the same amount as a 2024, 2025 model bolt-action rifle that we can get that does the exact same thing, only better. That's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know what else to say, guys. I really don't. I wouldn't go for the Mossberg. You can if you want to. This is just my opinion. This is my experience with this. Mossberg, if you want this thing to be more successful and not catch as much shade from people like me in states where we can no longer get the AR, I would suggest taking a look at your QC when it comes to the bolt and the play in the bolt and that stupid bolt face. This is horrid. That's a failure point waiting to happen. Guys, that's really all I've got for you today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit up all of the other socials. Make sure you follow on all of those. Algorithm is absolutely despising me. I have both my Allen account and my North Arms account over on Facebook and over on Trigger Hill. Head over there. All those links will be down in the description box. But that's all I got for you guys today. Stay safe, stay savage, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.